Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Today we will continue reading from Canto 4, Chapter 1, entitled Genealogical Table of the Daughters of Manu. Text 1. Sri Maitreya said, Swayambhuva Manu begot 3 daughters in his wife Shatrupa, and their names were Akuti, Devahuti, and Prasuti. Text 2. Akuti had 2 brothers, but in spite of her brothers, King Swayambhuva Manu handed her over to Prajapati Ruchi on the condition that the son born of her, be returned to Manu as his son. This he did in consultation with his wife Shatarupa. Text 3. Ruchi, who was very powerful in his Brahminical qualifications and was appointed one of the progenitors of the living entities, begot 1 son and 1 daughter by his wife Akuti. Text 4. Of the 2 children born of Akuti, the male child was directly an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his name was Yagna, which is another name of Lord Vishnu. The female child was a partial incarnation of Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, the eternal consort of Lord Vishnu. Text 5. Swayambhuva Manu very gladly brought home the beautiful boy named Yagna, and Ruchi, his son-in-law, kept with him the daughter Dakshina. Text 6. The lord of the ritualistic performance of Yagna later married Dakshina, who was anxious to have personality of Godhead as her husband, and in this wife the Lord was also very much pleased to beget 12 children. Text 7. The 12 boys born of Yagna and Dakshina were named Tosha, Pratosha, Santosha, Bhadra, Shanti, Idaspati, Hidma, Kavi, Vibhu, Swahana, Sudeva, and Rochana. Text 8. During the time of Swayambhuva Manu, these sons all became the demigods, collectively named the Tushtitas Marichi. Marichi became the head of the 7 rishis, and Yagna became the king of the demigods, Indra. Text 9. Swayambhuva Manu's 2 sons, Priyavrata, Uttanapada, became very powerful kings, and their sons and grandsons spread all over the worlds during that period. Text 10. My dear son, Swayambhuva Manu handed over this very dear daughter Devahuti to Kardama Muni. I have already spoken to you about them, and you have heard about them almost in full. Text 11. Swayambhuva Manu handed over his daughter Prasuti to the son of Brahma named Daksha, who was also one of the progenitors of the living entities. The descendants of Daksha are spread throughout the 3 worlds. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much, Madhu. Hare Krishna. Today we're starting the Canto 4. So, Sri Krishna Prabhu, whenever you're ready, you can start, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yeah, thank you very much, Swapna Mataji. Thank you, Sundaran Prabhu. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yogam Sikshashtamekam Purusha Puranam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Sariradari Kripamudirtamaham Prapadye Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. As Sundaran Prabhu said, we are starting the new canto, Canto 4 today. It was titled as the creation of the 4th order. So here it starts with Maitreya Vacha. So Maitreya Muni, in the previous canto, especially in the last chapter, he is concluding the pastimes of Devahuti, the teachings of Lord Kapiladev to Devahuti, and how Devahuti attained the supreme perfection. She got liberated, and also how Kapila Muni actually, after leaving home, after leaving the the bank of Saraswati, he went towards the northeast, and then he was, he was performing austerities, and he was in trance in that location for the purpose of basically to purify all the uh, acharyas, and then he is also blessing by this knowledge of Sankhya philosophy, and whoever is worshipping. So Lord Kapiladev is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he is still, it's mentioned that he is still blessing by his all the acharyas and all three worlds. And now now he's saying that Maitreya Rishi says that, he's saying to Vidra that now that, you have inquired from me, I have explained the descriptions of Kapiladev, Devahuti, and the activities. And then he's concluding the last chapter of the last canto, third canto, all of the confidential dealings of Lord Kapiladev, Devahuti, and Kardama Muni. Now in the fourth canto, Maitreya Rishi, Maitreya Uvacha. So Maitreya Rishi is again going back to the original question that because of the Brahma's instructions that the progeny has to be expanded all over the three worlds. Because of that reason, Kardama Muni basically married Devahuti, and then later on he left home for the purpose of purification. So now he's coming back to Swayambhu Manu, because Swayambhu Manu had three daughters. So by the wife Shatarupa, Akuti, Devahuti, and Prasuti. So we already know that Devahuti was married to Kardama Muni, and she had a Supreme Personality of Godhead. Kapiladev has her son, and then she got delivered by the instructions of Lord Kapiladev. So now Maitreya Rishi is coming back to the original reason how he started the whole pastimes and everything. So now Prabhupada is offering prayers to his Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada here, because this writing Srimad Bhagavatam is a monumental task, and translating and writing purports. So he's offering his obeisances to his Guru Maharaj, and also he is acknowledging only by his grace he were able to finish three cantos. And he's starting the fourth cantos and offering obeisances to six Goswamis, Radha Krishna, and Vrindavana Dham. So now in this fourth canto, is also giving a summary of what to expect in this fourth canto. He's saying there are 31 chapters. In this 31 chapters, the secondary creation of Brahmaji and Manus is explained. So the primary creation happens by the Lord, Supreme Lord himself, when he agitates the material energy. Just by his, look, he agitates the material energy, and then the secondary creation happens by Brahmaji, the first living entity. So in this canto, there are the chapters describing secondary creation by Brahma and the Manus, and also how they expanded the population in this whole creation. So, and also in the first chapter of this fourth canto, descriptions of three daughters of Swayambhu Manu. So here we have seen that Akuti, Devahuti, and Prasuti, they're all given. And then the Maharaj Dhruva's pastimes also comes in this canto only. There are 5 chapters describing the Maharaj Dhruva Maharaj pastimes, and then the activities of King Prithu Maharaj. And the 8 chapters are dedicated to the activities of Pracheta kings. So all of these comes in 4th canto. So Swayambhu Manu here, as described, as mentioned here, has 3 daughters. So we all know that Devahuti married Kardama Muni. So in this chapter, the first daughter, Akuti, is specifically mentioned. And then because the reason, because Akuti's mentioned, because there was a great devotee of the Lord, Swayambhu Manu. Lord Brahma had many sons, and Swayambhu Manu is one of the sons. The reason why Swayambhu Manu is mentioned in detail, that also Prabhupada says, because Swayambhu Manu is a great devotee of the Lord, and in his lineage, Lord himself is actually taking birth through his daughters. So that's the reason it's Swayambhu Manu's lineage is mentioned. So now going forward, Akuti also had two brothers. So two brothers, Uttanapada, and there were other. So in spite of having two brothers, so this was a system in the Vedic culture that if somebody don't have a son, if someone has only daughter, so what they will do, they will give daughter in marriage, and then they will request that the son born to the daughter is given back to the father as a charity. So because of inheriting the kingdom, it could be inheriting the kingdom, or for many, especially for inheriting the kingdom and taking the lineage forward. So this system was there in the Vedic culture. It's called Putrika Dharma. But in this case, Swayambhu Manu had two other sons, but still he wanted Akuti to be given in marriage, and then he actually requested that the son born to Akuti was given in charity back to him. The reason here it's mentioned that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur commentary, he says that because Swayambhu Manu knew that Lord himself is going to take birth, and because of that reason, he actually made this. And it's also Lord's arrangement in another sense. So that is the specific reason here it's Prabhupada is mentioning. So in this situation, Ruchi, who was a very powerful Brahmana, so Akuti was married to Prajapati Ruchi. So Prajapati Ruchi is mentioned as a Brahma Varchashvi. Brahma Varchashvi, Prabhupada quotes here, Brahma Varchashvi means is very spiritually very powerful, and Brahmana who is very, very particular in following the Brahmanical qualities. So Prajapati sa Bhagavan Ruchistashyam Ajijanat. So here it says, by the wife Akuti, Ruchi, he actually begot one powerful one son and one daughter. So and he was very powerful in his Brahmanical qualification. So what are the Brahmanical qualification? We already know in Bhagavad Gita: Samadhama, Titiksha, Arjavam, Jnanam, Vijnanam, Brahma Karma, Swabhavajam. So all of these qualities. So here truthfulness, all of these qualities, he is very particular, and he follows all this very strictly. So here it's mentioned very rigidly, very rigidly. So here Prabhupada mentions that that's why here is mentioned as Brahma Varchasvi. So on the other side, we see in this material world, unless one is a Brahmana, one is in a Sattva Guna, one follows all this, principles, it is very difficult to understand Shastra. So Shastra, that's why it is mentioned in the Shastra that Sri Shudra, Vaishya, Dujabandhu, they are not qualified to understand Shastras, qualified to read Shastras. It is mentioned The reason is they cannot understand, they misinterpret, and they give wrong meaning. So Prabhupada is also quoting here that many people in the material world, they actually read Shastras, then they comment on it, they quote on it. So even though they don't have any Brahmanical qualifications, they don't follow Brahmanical qualifications, and such messages distort the whole Shastra. So in other way, he's giving emphasis to the Brahmanical qualification as a standard in order to understand the Shastra. So now Akuti had one son and a daughter. The son was his Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. Is an incarnation. So here it says Vishnur Yajna Swarupa Druk. So he's actually is Lord Vishnu himself. Is accepting the form of Yajna. So his name was given as Yajna, and was another name for Lord Vishnu. And then the girl child, the female child, was a Lord partial incarnation of Lord Mother Lakshmi. Amsa Bhutana Payini. So Amsa Bhuta means the plenary expansion. Anapayini is another word here. Anapayini is like never to be separated. So Lord Vishnu and Lakshmi they are actually never separated. They are always, Lakshmi ji is always a consort of Lord Vishnu. So from that perspective, they take birth simultaneously together here in this pastime. So here, Mother Lakshmi is named as Dakshina. So Dakshina. So so here Prabhupada mentions that Lord and Mother Lakshmi, they are not material creation. Like in this world, we see, like, if for a father, if a daughter and son is born, they are not consorts, right? So in this world, brothers and sisters, but here it's a pastime of the Lord that they are not material creation, they appear simultaneously. And also another pastime here it's happening is the son who is born to Akuti was given in charity to her father as per the agreement. So when the marriage was when Akuti was given to Ruchi, Prajapati Ruchi, they had an agreement that the son will be given back to him as as his as a charity. So now this pastime also has a significance because now the actual marriage happens between the goddess Lakshmi and Vishnu, Yajna and Dakshina, in a very Vedic style. So now Swayambhu Manu, now gladly he is accepting the boy Yajna, and son-in-law Ruchi, he was not that happy. Like, generally when parents wants to beget children and give the son back, they won't be happy, right? So, but here the daughter was also born, Dakshina. So he was happy that, okay, now I can at least raise my daughter. And the son, he, as per the agreement, he is giving back to the Swayambhu Manu. So now Swayambhu Manu is very glad to accept Yajna. He knew that Yajna was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu himself. So the Prabhupada gives elaborate details on the word yajna. Like yajna means sacrifice. Bhagavad Gita also says, Yajnartat karmano anyatra lokayam karma bandhanaha tadartam karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. So the yajna has to be done for pleasing Lord Vishnu. Sacrifice has to be done as a matter of duty to please Lord Vishnu. Otherwise, what happens? Karma bandhanaha, like the yajna, the activities of this world will actually make you as a bondage. It will bind you together unless you offer that results as a sacrifice to Lord Vishnu. So that is what here the name of the Lord Vishnu is also called Yajna, because ultimately all the sacrifices, all the results has to be offered to him. So in that sense, that's the reason why Lord is also called Yajna. So another aspect Prabhupada says that, if our activity is not dovetailed with the desire, with the desire of the Supreme Lord, then we will be responsible for the results. So meaning all of the reaction that we have to take. What the reaction does is, reaction basically binds us in this material world. So that is the only reason how the devotees are always liberated, because they always give the results to the Supreme Lord, keeping themselves free from the reaction. So, and then Dakshina, who is a daughter of Ruchi, because she was partial expansion of Mother Lakshmi, she was anxious to have Lord Yajna as her husband. And Lord also married later on Dakshina, and the Lord and his wife, they beget 12 children in the womb of Dakshina. So Prabhupada here quotes about an ideal husband and wife. Who's an ideal husband and wife? Generally, we say Lakshmi Narayana for ideal husband and wife. And he quotes an example: a wife should always remain satisfied with her husband, and a husband should always remain satisfied with his wife. So in the Chanakya sloka, this moral instructions of Chanakya Pandit, it is said that if a wife and husband are always satisfied with one another, then the goddess of fortune automatically comes. So this is a very, very important point that Prabhupada makes about the Grahastha ashram. So Lord being an ideal personality, so here he's saying that just like Yajna and Dakshina, how they are. So when Lord does his pastimes, he perfectly does everything perfectly fine. So similarly, in the human beings, when we are supposed to live in a happy life according to Varnashram Dharma, so in the Grahastha ashram, when there is no disagreement between husband and wife, when they both are satisfied with each other, then automatically everything else will manifest, like wealth, prosperity, good health, everything will manifest. So that is what Prabhupada is saying here. And sufficient. So in the Vedic culture, the wife is trained to be satisfied in all conditions, and husband, according to Vedic instructions, is required to please the wife with sufficient food, ornaments, and clothing. But this is like the ideal how the devotee should live their life and develop Krishna consciousness. But in the Kali Yuga, there is Varna Shankara, like Bhagavad Gita says, Varna Shankara, because when there is no agreement between husband and wife, there is a quarrel, and children also born were not actually, good progeny. So that happens in the. So another point here says, when the couple, husband and wife, are satisfied, the children are born are automatically a good progeny. In other words, they'll have all the good qualities. So and then the names of the 12 children, the boys born for Yajna and Dakshina, is also mentioned here in this verse. And then that another detail mentioned here is, all of these boys, they become demigods, and they collectively were called as Tushitas. So, and here it says the Marichi become the head of the 7 rishis, and Yajna become the king of the demigods, Indra. So Yajna took the position of the Indra. So Indra is actually another name for the leader of the demigods. So here we can see that Yajna took the position of the Indra. So Indra is basically a position for the leader of the demigods. So, and then there are 6 kinds of living entities mentioned here. So during the life of Swayambhu Manu, there are 6 kinds of living entities were generated from the demigods, known as Tushitas. So they are Manus, Devas, Manuputras, Amshashvataras, Sureshwaras, and Risish. So all of these 6 kinds of living entities were actually expanded during the reign of king, during the reign of Yagna. So now Yagna become the demigod's chief. So under his reign, all of these 6 kinds of living entities expanded. So now Swayambhu Manu, another 2 sons names Uttanapada and Priyavrata is mentioned here. So they become very powerful kings, and their sons and grandsons, they spread all over the 3 worlds during this period. So now so one of the purpose of Manu's progenitors is to populate the entire 3 worlds. So now Swayambhu Manu's 2 sons, we have seen the daughter, especially Akuti lineage, and now Priyavrata and Uttanapada is mentioned. And then they also populated the entire 3 worlds with their progeny and grandsons. So, and then it says Swayambhu Manu. We already discussed Devahuti and Kardama Muni. Now now he says that another daughter, Prashuti, was married to son of Brahma Daksha. So 3 daughters, like Akuti married Ruchi, Prajapati Ruchi, and then Devahuti married Devahuti married. So here the 3rd daughter, the Prasuti married another son of Brahma, Daksha. So now because of all of the other Daksha's pastimes, here is introducing the 3rd daughter. So Daksha is also one of the progenitors of living entities. So like he is also one of the Prajapatis. So the descendants of Daksha, they are all spread throughout the 3 worlds. Trilokyam Vitato Mahan. So here it's mentioned as. So, and now Maitreya Rishi is saying about the daughters of Kardama Muni. They had, like, Kardama Muni begot 9 daughters, right, in Devahuti. Like all of these 9 daughters were handed over to several rishis and sages. Now he is going to describe the descendants of those 9 daughters. So he is basically elaborating all of the different lineage. So from verse number 13, he starts describing the Kardama Muni's daughter Kala was married to Marichi and gave birth to 2 children, so Kashyapa and Purnima. So Hare Krishna. This concludes the verse 13 today. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Sri
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai.